Hey everybody, Thomas Joseph here from Kitchen Conundrums, and today I am answering one of the most popular questions that I have been asked, and that is a how-to on French macaroons, or most people say French macarons if you really want to be serious about them. And that is this little almond egg white cookie that sandwiches some sort of tasty filling. And today I'm going to show you the tricks and tips behind making these little French macaroons, and we're gonna start here with the base for the cookie. What you need to be here is very precise. So I have a digital scale because you really need to know the exact grams for this recipe. So I need 71 grams of blanched sliced almonds, and that's about 2/3 of a cup. So I have tared out or zeroed out the bowl that I have here on my scale, and I'm going to measure 71 grams. And now this goes into the bowl of a food processor here. And now I need 117 grams of confectioner sugar. And now this goes into the processor, process this up for about a minute. And now I have a fine mesh sieve. And this is really to ensure that you don't have any giant pieces of almond, because you want this cookie to be very fine in texture. You're just going to stir the mixture in the sieve, and as you can see, there are still some decent sized pieces of the almonds left. So we need to reprocess this now, and we're going to continue this process until there's 2 tablespoons left in the strainer. Once there's 2 tablespoons left in the strainer, you're done. And what you're going to do is you're going to discard those 2 tablespoons. I know it's a little weird, but it does make sense because it ensures that you have the proper consistency and texture, and also the right quantity. Okay, so the second process here, again, sifting and gently pressing the almond confectioner sugar mixture through the sieve, and you want to be left with just under 2 tablespoons of this powder. So I would say that this is perfect. So now for the cookie batter, we need 2 egg whites at room temperature. Cold egg whites do not achieve as much volume as room temperature egg whites. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and that is 53 grams of sugar. Now, this goes right in with the egg whites here. Now, typically with a French meringue, which is egg whites and sugar whisked together in a mixer, you gradually add the sugar, but in this case, it all gets added in at the start. So I'm using my hand here to give it a good stir before using the mixer. So now I'm gonna start mixing my egg whites on medium speed for 2 minutes. Make sure you set your timer. So it's been 2 minutes. I'm gonna restart my timer, and I'm going to increase the speed to medium-high for another 2 minutes. All right, so now set the timer yet again for another 2 minutes, and now increase the speed to high, and we're gonna beat for the final 2 minutes. Okay, so the final 2 minutes are up, and now here's your chance to add any sort of coloring, and also if you wanted to add a little bit of flavoring, you could do so here. I'm going to make yellow macaroons today, so I'm using a little bit of lemon yellow gel paste. Now you want to make sure that you use gel paste as opposed to the food coloring that you would get in a grocery store, because it's too loose, it's too liquidy, and it's going to mess with the chemical structure here. So you want a gel paste, something that is thick and viscous. And I'm going to put 2 drops in. Make sure you do this when the mixer is off. Don't do it while it's running. And now beat this again for 30 seconds on high speed until it stiff peaks. And now you want to add in that almond and confectioner sugar mixture. And using a rubber spatula, fold this mixture into the egg whites. So bring the mixture up to the side of the bowl and then scraping around the side. So you want to repeat this process for 35 times. And you want the consistency to be like a little bit like thick lava here, and this looks great. You don't want it to be too thin because it's gonna run out of the bag. So transfer to a pastry bag with a 3/4 inch round tip. Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees with the rack in the lower third of the oven. Now I have a cookie sheet here and some parchment. Now a little trick to keep the parchment secure while you're piping, use a tiny bit of batter right in the corners, and what this does is it helps to keep the parchment on the cookie sheet and it doesn't lift up when you pipe. Now we need about 3/4 inch in diameter little circles here, and you're gonna pipe straight down. Once you get to 3/4 of an inch, give a bit of a swirl and continue. Now you want these to be about an inch apart. So now you have to tap the pan against your countertop 2 to 3 times. This way you won't get any air bubbles. So now these go right into the oven. Now most recipes out there you see for French macaroons, they tell you to let the cookies rest. You don't need to do it with this recipe. These go right into the oven. So our cookies here have baked for 13 minutes until they are risen and just set. And you wanna make sure that when you're baking them that you rotate them halfway through. Once they come out of the oven, as they are now, leave them alone. Do not touch them, let them cool completely before you move them because they are super fragile when they're warm. So our cookies have completely cooled, and what you wanna do is you wanna take one of these offset spatulas and you are going to gently glide underneath the cookies to release them from the parchment. They should come off fairly easily. And now for the fun part, the fillings. Now you can really use so many different fillings, from jams to curds. You can make a lemon curd, an orange curd, a lime curd would even be great. Pastry cream works, buttercreams, and chocolate, and also caramel sauce. This is a lemon buttercream, and all you really have to do is put a little bit of the buttercream or your filling in the center of your cookie and sandwich with your second cookie there. Now, one little trick, if you really like filling and you want to kind of maximize the amount, you can use your thumb and gently press into the center of your cookie, only applying pressure with your thumb, and what that does is it creates a well so you can fit that much more filling into your cookies. And now there you go, you have your sandwiched macarons. Now, the good thing about these cookies is you can make these cookies up to 3 to 5 days in advance. Just make sure that they're sandwiched and put into your refrigerator, and they'll actually get an even better texture, a softer texture. So there you go, Macarons 101, enjoy.